It's Sunday, November 14th, 2021. It's a quiet afternoon here in Southern California, and I was just sitting back thinking a little bit earlier today about the upcoming week. I expect markets to continue to soar, and as they do, more and more people are beginning to realize something's wrong. And I think a lot of people are beginning to realize that this transitory inflation is not going away. And I think that they're beginning to realize that many of you were right. And those people who judged you, made fun of you, called you names, thought you were crazy, are now beginning to realize you were right. And I'm making this video today. We're going to talk about a couple different things, but I want to just reinforce with all of you over the past couple years, people thought you were crazy, thought I was crazy, thought that there was no such thing as inflation, that this economy was immortal. People are beginning to realize that things are much worse than they thought. And they're also beginning to realize that the system cannot fix the problems that the system created. You know, people are now writing me, apologizing to me, because they said that, you know, a month ago or a couple months ago or whatever, they judged me, they called me names, they were trolling me. And look, you don't have to apologize to me. I'm not, you know, first off, all I do is report the truth. And every day, I'm just reporting the news. And I'm connecting the dots. And I'm sharing it with all of you. And I'm trying to wake up as many people as possible. I'm not a prophet. I'm not a mind reader. I don't have a crystal ball. I'm just reading the data. I'm watching the data. I'm connecting the dots. I'm watching what's happening today and the trends that are starting. What happens today is going to tell us what's going to happen tomorrow. And all I'm using is common sense. So I just want everybody out there to do the same thing. So nobody owes me an apology. I just want you to get right with God. I want you to get in better shape. I want you to get in better financial shape, better spiritual, physical shape. And I just want you to be a critical thinker and start thinking for yourself because you deserve it. You really do. So nobody owes me an apology. And to be clear, look, many of you know exactly what's happening. You connected the dots way before I connected the dots. And all those comments that you leave down below, so many people read those comments. So many people have read those comments, and you've woken up so many people from their comas. And I want to thank all of you so much for participating and writing those comments because it's made me think, it's made my family think, it's made my friends think, it's made people all over the world begin to think, critically think for themselves, and you have saved lives. You know, I've done a couple videos in the past about this, but these same people who judged you, ridiculed you, made fun of you, are going to be the same people that are going to come knocking at your doors because they're going to be desperate. They're going to be hungry. They're going to be thirsty. They're going to be worried about their kids. They're going to look for shelter. Nobody's talking about the millions of people currently being evicted in this country. Nobody's talking about the increase in mortgage defaults. Where are all these people going to go? We see people quitting their jobs. We see people filing first-time unemployment benefits. Where are all these people going to go? They're going to go to your house. They're going to come knocking at your door because they know that you made sacrifices over the past few years. You didn't go to Las Vegas. You didn't go and gamble on the slot machines. You didn't go and buy a $20,000 watch. You didn't go and finance a new car for 8 years or a boat. You were smart. You saved. You took your hard-earned money and you bought preparations. And these same people now want to come to your house. And we're all going to come to a point where we're going to have to make very, very serious decisions are we going to let those people in? Or are we going to turn them away? Could be friends, could be relatives, family members. It's going to be a very, very hard decision. I don't have the answer. Everybody's situation will be different. But remember one thing, or actually a couple things. These people who you might invite in, what do they bring to the table? What benefits do they have to offer to you? What kind of skills do they have? The same people who laughed and made fun of you, who didn't want to make the same sacrifices 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago, now know and realize you're right. And now they're looking at you as security and safety. And the question is, when they come knocking on your door and they bring nothing, are you going to let them in? What kind of skills? What do they have to offer? What do they bring to the table? These people will be looking out more than likely just for themselves. So remember that. But again, that's a decision you have to make. It's a decision I may have to make. But there are people watching this video today where I promise you, you're going to be in that situation and you're going to have to make a very, very serious decision. And more than likely, many of you are going to close the door and turn people away. You'll be forced to. I want to get into a couple articles today. Here's one. Almost 70% of Americans take at least one prescription medication, study finds. Get this. I mean, this is, as this economy implodes, we are going to see more drug use, more suicide, more crime. It's going to be a time in history that we are going to look back and really shake our heads and wish that it could have been avoided. More than half take at least 2 prescriptions. 1/5 of Americans are taking 5 or more prescription drugs. This is prescription, not illegal. I mean, when you get into illegal drug use, I mean, this thing is off the charts. But think about this. 1/5 of Americans are taking 5 or more prescription drugs. 13% of the population has a prescription for opioids. Opioids and antidepressants were the most common among young Americans and middle-aged adults. And I keep reading these articles and watching the news that we have a shortage of truck drivers in America, that we're missing 80,000 truck drivers. Well, guess why? Because 80,000 truck drivers could not pass the drug tests and had their commercial driver's licenses suspended or taken away. So, I mean, we have a real drug dependency here in America. And as this economy worsens, so will drug use in America. And I just want to share with everybody, be strong. And if you're on something and you can get off of it, you need to really be a strong person and get off these drugs, whether they're illegal drugs or pharmaceutical drugs. These things are nothing but crutches, and you got to kick them if you can. Now, I know that there are people that really do need certain pharmaceutical drugs to, live a comfortable life. I understand that. But, if you have the beginning of diabetes, you can change your diet today and you'll never, ever have to be on a drug. Okay, there's things right now we can do with just eating better and working out, taking that walk, going swimming, a bike ride, getting to the gym, that is really going to benefit your health and enable you not to be reliant or dependent on these pharmaceuticals that are going to enslave you, going to control you. And look, we know that 90% of these pharmaceuticals come from China. What happens if China, for some reason, says we're not shipping certain drugs to America any longer? What are people going to do that are so dependent on these drugs? What are people going to do if the lights go out? What are people going to do when this economy collapses and drug prices soar? So the less dependent you are, the better off you're going to be. It's just going to benefit you immensely. I want to share another article with all of you. This is from a website called Reason. It's titled, "Inflation Will Make Government Budget Problems Worse." It's important that we understand what inflation is, how it works, so that we can better protect ourselves and our wealth. It says the rate of inflation gets captured in interest rates that borrowers must pay, especially for longer-term debt. Lenders hope to get paid back with at least as much purchasing power. If they believe inflation will tick away at 4%, interest rates tend to rise with this baked in expectations. This means higher interest cost on all forms of public and private debt are going to go up. As a result, mortgage rates will rise. All forms of construction will suffer, and businesses will postpone making large investments in equipment and plants. We have been able to manage, ladies and gentlemen, this federal debt because we're sitting at 0% interest rates. What happens when rates go up? I know people are laughing, but not so many people are laughing now because more people now know and understand and believe that rates are going to go up, and that the interest on the debt is going to go up too. And this means that a lot of people are going to feel a lot of pain. And the standard of living for a lot of people in this country is about to change. Another article today, this one coming from the New York Post. Saul Amarova, this is the administration's pick for Treasury post, wants coal, oil, and gas industries to go bankrupt. This, I'm sure, will certainly help the economy a lot more. If you think energy cost is expensive now, wait till Saul Amarova gets in. You ain't seen nothing yet. The administration's pick to be comptroller of currency, she was filmed calling oil and gas troubled industries in which a lot of small players are going to probably go bankrupt. At least we want them to go bankrupt. That's what she said. She also went on to say, we get rid of them by starving them of capital. There's thousands of these small energy companies, oil companies, coal companies, and if they are suffocated of capital, they can no longer get capital, they're out of business. And this means that you're going to pay a lot more money to heat your house, cool your house, to turn the lights on. You're going to pay a lot more money. Another article regarding the Treasury nominee says the Federal Reserve should control all U.S. banks. So this same individual is talking about full control of your bank accounts. This same Treasury nominee says the Federal Reserve should control all U.S. bank accounts. There will be no more private bank deposit accounts, and all the deposit accounts will be held directly at the Fed. That's what she says. How do you feel about that? Comment down below. I don't think that's a good thing. Now, I don't get political. I'm not going to get political on this channel, but I think it's a dangerous thing. I really do. Market watch. It feels like it's never ending. Prolonged exposure to high inflation leaves people with anxiety and weird shopping habits. All of this bizarre economy and all of this inflation, we're now seeing super inflation. I mean, next it'll be hyperinflation. I pray to God that never happens here in America because we are so unprepared for anything like that. And we're finding out that we're not prepared for a whole bunch in this country. But right now, with what is happening, it is taking a psychological toll on millions of people in this country. More drug use. We just talked about how many people in this country, 70% of this country is on pharmaceuticals, and how many people are taking illegal drugs in this country. So we're going to see more people coping with these psychological problems by taking more illegal drugs, more pharmaceuticals. In this article, they interviewed a paralegal, Jill Sanfilippo. That's her name. She said 3 years ago, she got a quote to repay for a quarter-mile-long driveway. It was $10,000. In the spring, it was $12,000. She said a painting job at her house in 2019, she was quoted $3,000. Now it's $4,700. She says she and her son, it's just her and her son, that when they go to the grocery store, she's now spending $500 to $600 per month getting less food. They're not just buying things to buy things. Now people are being more selective, going, I don't really need that. I'm not going to buy, 5 candy bars. Now we're only going to buy 2 candy bars. It's going to be 1 quart of ice cream, now 2 quarts. She says frozen pizza went from $3.99 to $5.99. So people are having to buy certain things and not buy certain things, right? So they're going to buy things that they really need, but they're turning away maybe the ice cream, the candy bars, the chips. They're not able to buy everything that they once were. Inflation puts a toll on a person's wallet, but it can also impose a psychological one: discomfort, anxiety, and scale down spending. These are some of the ways people may react to upward drifting prices. Again, people are cutting out certain items. They're cutting out more expensive items. They're cutting out, a lot of people cutting out the more expensive meats, and they're going to hamburger. They may cut out steak and go to chicken, but I mean, even chicken's getting so expensive. They're going to continue to stop doing things as they normally would. Things that cost more, such as repaving a driveway, are going to have to wait, right? How many people now are going to say, hey, I'm not remodeling the kitchen. I'm not going to remodel the house. I'm not going to do an outdoor kitchen. We're not going to do a pool this year. How many people right now have already made that decision? They're going to put it off. 78% of people expect inflation to worsen in 2022. If you're a small business owner, this is not good news. This is not good news at all. People are going to figure out that they have a lot less money to spend, and they're going to have to cut things out of their life. So what are most people going to do about this rising inflation? Comment down below. Let me know how it's changing your life. Have you, as an individual, have you had to cut something out? Did you go, hey, I'm going to buy or lease that car this year, and just say, hey, not going to happen. I can't do it this year. We're going to put a pool in the backyard. Not going to do it this year. How many people have made those kind of decisions? People can only adjust their spending so much before they're tapped out, ladies and gentlemen. And the question is, what happens when people get tapped out? What is going to happen? This economy, the downfall of this economy and the collapse of this economy has just begun. It has a long way down to go. And I do believe at some point we're going to watch things expedite, accelerate. And right now it's been very slow moving, and so slow that some people believe nothing even bad's happening. They believe this is normal. They think that I'm completely wrong. The economy's fine. This is normal. No problems. Those people are delirious. They're absolutely out of their minds if they believe that. This has really been happening slowly, but it is going to begin to accelerate. And when it does, the problems are going to be immense. And this is where we're going to see more drug use, more suicide, more homeless. So as I leave you today, make sure you're checking on your friends and family members. You do not know what's going through somebody's head. The house might look good on the outside. The lights are on, the Mercedes in the driveway, everything's fine. These people may not have made a house payment in 12 months. They may not have made a car payment in 6 months. They might have $100,000 in credit card debt. You have no idea the situation that people are in right now. Things may look good on the outside, but you do not know what's happening in the inside. These could be friends of yours, family members of yours, and it might even be you that I'm talking to you today. And if I'm talking to somebody who's really in despair right now, who is really having some psychological problems, who's having some bad thoughts, look, call your pastor. If you don't have a pastor, just find one. Call a hotline. Call a friend. Call a family member. Find a good pastor and talk to somebody, because this is not worth your life, and things are going to get worse, and you're not the only one. There are millions of people in the same boat you are. So I'm reaching out to everybody to make sure that you are staying in contact with friends and family. Just make sure that they're okay. And we're going to see big problems, ladies and gentlemen. We've got to stay strong. It's our duty to make sure that we help other people. That doesn't mean that you have to move somebody into your house and feed them for the next 12 months, but to take a couple minutes out of your time. Maybe you have to make a little donation, help them out, give them a little advice, send them in the right direction, whatever you have to do. If you have to take somebody in, maybe it's a family member or a friend, maybe you got to move them in to one of those bedrooms in your house. You got a 5-bedroom house, you're using 2. Maybe you bring somebody in. Maybe you got to help somebody. Look, these are all decisions and situations that are all completely different for everybody. Everybody's household and environment, situation, whatever, is different than the next guy's. So just something to think about, ladies and gentlemen. These are bridges that are going to be crossed by you and I, and we need to get ahead of it. That there are people out there that need help now. There are going to be people out there that are going to need help. But the question is, how much are you willing and able to help somebody, and especially people who judged you, made fun of you, who made no sacrifices, and now understand and realize that they're in the abyss. Something to think about. Give me your thoughts. Put them down below. Comment. Let me know your thoughts on that. God bless every one of you. God bless this incredible country. I look forward to talking with all of you very, very soon. Stay safe. Stay very safe out there. And make sure that you give thanks to God tonight for everything you have. God bless.